I'd like to introduce our next speaker for today's session, Mr. Nitin Mittal, Chairman and Managing Director of Knest. He built Knest with a vision to make real estate industry clean, green, and lean. He has been operating on a mission to protect 1 crore trees by 2030. Knest is one of the leading foremost formwork company with superior technology and at an affordable pricing. Let's hear from him how we can achieve the slab cycle of 6 days. Welcome to the CREDAI Marathon series, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I think, Abhishek, congratulations for this. You have been doing a marathon, and I can see Shantiral uncle also here. So it's a great thing, and I think educating everyone and bringing everyone on a common platform is one of the best things we can do for everyone. And today, I think the entire industry is talking of quicker timelines, environment, sustainable construction, and my presentation is all about that how to use formwork as a technology and construct quickly, and how to protect trees by using this technology. And before even we go on that, what are the site preparations we should do? And parallelly, the most important factor is how to recognize a formwork, because recognizing a right formwork will play the most important role over here. So I have Himanshu over here. Himanshu?
Yes, sir.
Hi, yeah, sir. Can you share the screen?
Yes, sir. I'll share the screen, sir.
So guys, before I start, I just want to put this thing as very important that before we start working on the timelines, how to accomplish 6 days slab, first let's understand the technical points which are very important for procuring formwork. One of the most critical part is earlier formwork used to be considered as luxury, but today I think it's a need and a want. We used to use it like a mold to form concrete into structural shape. But today in modern world, the technology that gives speed in construction. But I think more than the speed, it is environment friendly. And second is we can actually save a lot of money. One of our dear friends and a member of CREDAI Youth Wing, a very senior guy who has told that, formwork cost is not more than 3 to 5% of the construction. But the criticality is so high that, if we miss on any small things, we can end up spending more money than instead of saving. Yeah, Machu. Next year. So importance of the formwork, which I've already told you, it will help you make a site clean, green, lean, and so actually we can, instead of doing 3, 4, 5 projects together, we can actually complete a project quicker. And formwork does not only save your time and money. The biggest thing is cost of opportunity is possible by using of this technology. If by chance we are using it for completing a project for 3 years, and if we wind up the project in 2 years, with that money we can start another new project. So it's a very good enabler for multiple projects because we are saving time. So return on time, return on opportunity is what this technology can offer to us. So how to choose the right formwork? So I often go through this question, and the biggest challenge which I face, and I have to literally make everyone understand, is that the world is spending billions and billions of dollars to get the weight of system down and yet increase the performance. Actually, formwork is to be always bought on pressure systems. What is the kind of kilonewton pressure it can sustain, it can take? What is the kind of repetition it can give? The repetition is directly proportional to the pressure of the concrete, what it will take. So for us, if we go for a lower pressure, so example, if someone will offer us a 40 kilonewton or a 50 kilonewton pressure formwork, then the challenge is we have to pour concrete slowly. If it becomes 60 kilonewton, then you can increase the speed a little more. And speed is the entire game of concreting what we do, yet bringing in quality. So that is one of the most important factor. Second, when we talk of alloys. The alloy, when people ask why 6061T6, it is because if we use any other alloy, the strength of the welding, the back support has been given, will not sustain much. So that's going to play a very important role. The best alloy, in fact, I'll tell you, aluminum is one of the worst material when it comes to welding. But in that, the best is 6061T6. In fact, we should not even really focus on welding or doing anything on the site to this material. Cutting a panel or welding a panel will you will lose the entire reason why we are using the formwork. We will not even get the we will get in fact undulations on the wall, which can be very dangerous because we'll end up spending more money to make that a level game. And we all know that it's environment friendly, and so we are actually making a study, and it is somewhere showing that per building what we do, approximately it's an average calculation, we are saving around 800 to 1000 trees. So that's what I said, why 6061T6 only, because this alloy is an alloy which is friendly compared to other aluminum things, other aluminum alloys. Example, for the planes and all that stuff, the missiles, they use 7 series, not even 6 series, because there they cannot compromise on any sort of quality. And here also formwork is a very important subject, because 6061T6 can help us in sustaining that pressure of the stiffeners. Otherwise, we will 100% get undulations in the future repetitions. So the difference between conventional and aluminum formwork, I think we all have been hearing from here and there. The biggest advantage what we have in this, what I can tell you, is that we can achieve the slab cycle time in 6 days, and that's a very much possibility. We have worked with Tatas in one of the projects, and they have achieved it in 4 days, 4.5 days, 5 days, and they have their own systems of doing that. And so it purely depends. If we go on the northern side of the country, वहाँ पे holidays थोड़े ज़्यादा होते हैं, तो 6 days का वो 7-8 days हो जाता है. But then we can always bring it to 6 days if we are actually working, and I'll show how this is a possibility. So aluminum formwork comes in 3 types. There's a product A, product B, product C formwork, and we have to recognize what can be better for us, because that's what I was trying to tell you, that see, when we have undulations on the wall, even if we have completed the slab cycle, we will have to make sure that we are giving a clear wall to the customer, and it becomes a very tedious job. So we have to understand that there's a friction stir welded material which is good, because that technology we have adopted from foreign countries. And then there is a single piece which is the best. I mean, this is again not possible, not available in this country. So these 2 technologies have been adopted from foreign countries. In fact, the first type is not available with anyone. It's an expensive material. And the third category is again where when the alloy is weak, or the welding is done by hands. So such welding, if breaks on the site, then the site will slow down, it will stop. So we have to make sure that site cannot stop. So when we have going with such aggressive plans of 6 days for a slab, then I think we cannot go with any sort of a TIG welding or a MIG welding, because our site is at risk, and the cash flow for us is everything. I think we depend more on cash flows, so we cannot compromise there. So when we talk of how to achieve 6 days slab cycle, so preparation is a part of it, planning is a part of it. Preparation of the site is very important. How we execute is very important. And how do we plan to maintain the material so that we can reuse it in the future orders. And that's what I'm going to actually now speak. So there's one more thing which I will want to put, that we think with aluminum formwork we can only make straight structures. No, that's not the fact. We can actually make a lot of designs. Even that is possible with the future technologies. We will be able to give shapes to a building and grooves to the building. So that is a possibility, and that will be possible with all the companies in the future. So we are trying to bring in systems and technology that will be shared with all the players in the system. So you can see over here that when we talk of 6-day slab and when we talk of 4-day slab, or let it be anything, so there are extra material, that is prop heads, that has to be purchased. There are external brackets. All these things have to be procured extra if you want to go for a lesser time cycle. For a 6-day slab cycle, depending on the RCC consultant who you are talking to, they will either say you can remove the support of the slab in 12 days or 14 days, maybe someone in 10 days. So considering 12 days, it's a possibility that we know we can do it in 6 days slab cycle. So after we start the project, or one of the major challenges on the site is when we have the first slab where we'll be starting to use formwork. There we don't see that as a level. So we have seen in practical that no site actually has a 0 0 level in the plinth, or maybe on the slab on which the formwork will be there. Because after that, what happens is, if it's not on level, then A side of the panel and the B side of the wall. So if in one room there's this side of the wall and that side of the wall, the panels will not be on the same height, and that will create a problem because your pins and wedges can be a problem. So we have to see that the base on which the formwork will be there should actually be maximize karte hum level. Let's bring the level to a 0 0 or maybe 0 1. Let's not make it 0.7. So it will make a lot of difference in the usage of formwork. And second is then what is the size space required for material stacking, because material has to be stacked in a right way, depending on which part of the material is there, and so which part of the material is there and where we have to place it. So example, there's a flat 1, so we have to make sure that the material is kept at part 1. So that's going to be a very important thing. So this is something like area calculation for site, how for a building, what is the area you will actually need on the site. This is a calculation which I will share with everyone. And so that's the area you will always need, so that you can use formwork in a very free way. Otherwise, area on the site today, we face a lot of challenges, and that can consume a lot of time. So this is for a 3,000 square meter. So considering an average, when we talk of one building, one more point which I wanted to make over here was, formwork oil. We sometimes compromise on the oil. Formwork oil is one of the most critical part, because without the right oil, we will not be able to remove the panel smoothly, or we will not be getting a good finish. It can damage the panel also if it's not coming out. So it's very important that we don't compromise on the quality of the oil. And for any sort of formwork, let it be any formwork, we have to use free flowing concrete, self compacting concrete. And we cannot use vibrators in that, because that will give you a kind of a bulging in either side of the wall. So that's one very important factor. And spending little extra on self compacting concrete can give a good shape. And it will go to all the corners and will give you a good finish on every part of the column, be it wall, be it shear wall, be it ceiling. So whenever we put the first slab, whenever we are putting the first part of the shear wall of the columns, we must make a mark on it, or identification. We have to identify it, so that later on, whenever we want to use it, it becomes very easy. That's going to be a very important thing for future casting of the slabs. So this is the when we talk of formwork, something very important: how many carpenters should be there, how many fitters should be there. So that's the total what we have mentioned over here. This is what we have seen on the site. Whenever the carpenters or the fitters, if they are lesser in numbers, we cannot achieve the number, because we need people. We need people on the site. The good part is here, they are skilled people. In fact, I think anyone working on the site is a skilled guy. But here we have people who are with experience, and they are going to use this. Second is, when we talk of what should we do on day 1. See, once we wall reinforcement can be should be done in day 1, using these many people on the site. Then after you doing that, we have a day 2, where we will be able to put all the shear walls, the wall panels. That can be done very casually, very easily on day 2. Day 3, we have to use the beam panels, which are heavy, and they take at least a day to be put. Day 4 we can have the slab panels, and after having the slab panels on the 4th day, the 5th day should be for slab reinforcement, and the last day is the concreting. That's how it is to be done. We have to make sure that all these processes we are giving 1 day maximum, and that is only possible if we have that sort of team. And all the grooves are there, all the panels are designed in such a way where we leave all the spaces for all the wires and the plumbing grooves. So that's going to play a very important role. That planning has to be done on a very nice systematic way. And after the concreting, when we go on a higher flow, that's the second flow, immediately the 7th day we can start off wall reinforcement again. And we can parallelly start removing the wall panels, which we have to set up on the day 8th. So it's a cycle which can be adopted. There are people who buy 3 prop sets, which support is there, and so prop head is there and prop support is always there. So that can be used for the second thing, because we give a double set, and so you can easily cast your second slab in the next 6 days. So that's the area calculation, and that's. Thank you very much for this, Abhishek. And if we have any question answers or you have anything, so I'm more than open to answer. What about the next cycle? Naveen Pandey is asking, where is the time for services? And what about the next cycle? So I think I just spoke about the next cycle, that how you can use the next cycle. This, when we talk of services, your services have to be a parallel running thing, and all your services will have to be left with grooves. If you have the grooves fixed, you can have all this thing parallelly going on. And when we talk about the next cycle, I just told you on the 7th day itself, you can start moving. First, आपको wall barring steel lagana hai, and after that, the 8th day you can actually start using your after the reinforcement 8th day you can remove the panels from the wall panels of the lower floor, and you can start fixing it up on the higher floor. So it's a cycle. And so when we talk of the next day, further day, usse pehle wale din apne wall higher wall panels, slab panels nikalne hain, and then you have to shift that, and you can keep the support. Someone, that's anonymous attendee, is asking what is the cost per square meter. Cost per square meter can be very different depending on the design. There is no fixed format where when we talk of cost, example I'll tell you, some sites have more height. Because the more height, there has to be more support given, so in that the cost can go higher. At the same time, when it's a complex project which has more curves and more systems, then panels will become heavier, the weight will go high, because 60 kilonewton is minimum what we have to provide, so we cannot compromise on that. And at the same time, complexity does take a toll on the production, so the price can be actually decided on that. So my request is, so we can work in very complex factors, we can work in very simple way, but there are very few things that we have, very few people will understand that cost is absolutely depending on the project design. So project design is going to play an important role out here. And one more thing over here is, see, the raw material what we use is going to play a very important factor for the cost. If you use a raw material other than 6061 T6, the cost can shrink by 1,000 rupees per square meter also. And if you are using a good material, the cost will be higher. So it's like, and again, like I shared before, because it was shared by, I'll just name him also, Sarvesh Javdekar, that, formwork will be 3 to 5% cost. But, the kind of complex it plays with the project is so high. And so cost is not really the value what formwork brings. Formwork value is much more than anything. We get an opportunity to create a new project because of that. So that is there. Then how are you going to achieve slab cycle to slab to cycle to slab cycle for 6 days? So Naveen, that's a possibility. I think we can always take this in more details. And so how smaller sites can use formwork, or is only for high-rise multi-tower projects? Small sites can use formwork, but it's not going to be viable. But what is going to be viable is using formwork as a shear wall, as a core wall, because that gets repetition. It's a standard panel. After using it for that project, you can use the standard panels. That's, we call it only verticals, that you can use it for another project also. Then you end up using it for repetition, You can use those panels in multiple places, and smaller projects should come into this because that's how you experience quality and use of it. And in a smaller way only it can be used.
So we
Can
have
we
one
use this for
question
100?
for you. We have a question for you. How do you get the manpower calculation of 23 and 19? What's the basis of that?
So this is kind of calculation what we have got is from the multiple projects we have taken. This is one of the things we have received from DLF also. So DLF is working with this format. And so if you are going to ask developers, their calculation might change here and there, but this is what we have got as an average. Okay.
Okay. Abhishek, do you have a question to ask?
Yeah, Nitin, we were discussing earlier about modifications.
Right. So that's a point which is very important. Abhishek, one very important factor I just want to bring on the table here is that how we treat doors. So, once a door is cut from anywhere, you lose the strength. Similarly, a panel is an extruded part. An extruded part cut anywhere will lose its strength completely. And welding aluminum is a bad idea. So, welding should be avoided to the maximum, because the moment you weld it, you are heating the process. The moment you are heating the part, your alloy is changing. So it becomes dangerous. So what we do is, as a company, I don't know about others. So for that case, what we do is, whenever we are having one project of yours, let's assume your project, and so we'll be doing a design for that. We keep all the data of the design. So the panels what we are going to use with your project will be a data which we'll be having. So whenever you give me a next project of yours, we will see to it that the design what I have, maximum panels, how they can be used there. Suppose there are panels which cannot be used at all. So in that case, then you can always dump that, take the scrap value, because the scrap value is also very good of aluminum. And then that difference material, you can buy it. So that's what I say, how you can reuse it. Refurbishment is absolutely no, because that is not absolutely to the norms. So one of the good news is that, formwork, the bad news was the formwork never had an IS code. The good news is, we are, with the help of Mr. Jakshesha, we are trying to bring in rules out there by trying to frame policies so that everyone comes on the same page. Can we use this for 100 roses project? Yes, of course. We are doing something like this for Saudi. We are working with Saudi, where projects are there. We are working with a developer from Hyderabad, Aurobindo. They are doing row houses and they are using that. For 100 roses, you can use 2 or 3 sets and that can work for you. And we have Saurabh Walia. What is the lead time to Delhi, as if any part got missed or damaged? So lead part, because the part was already made by us. So the lead time can change, because if it's an imported part, the lead time can be around 20 days. And if it's a part which is available, it can be sent in 4 days. So between 4 to 20 days, the kind of lead time should be there. That should be the right timeline if any part is missed or got damaged. In case if the part is a standard panel, then it can be done like, in 3-4 days, it can reach to Delhi. That's the lead time to Delhi. But otherwise, we are already working with DLF in Delhi. We are working with Tulip. So all the big guys are there and we are working with all of them. Any other questions here? Can I see? Yeah, there's one. How many repetition? What is the value per square meter prescribed repetitions? So depending on what product you are buying, if you're buying a product which is a kind of a single piece, which is a monolithic actually, then your repetitions are bound to go higher. It can go to 150, 200, 250 repetition, depending on how you have used on the site. Because if the panels are thrown from a higher floor, if the product is abused on the site, then the repetitions will definitely fall lower. So the moment, we talk of 30 repetitions or 40 repetitions, formwork becomes valuable. It's value. What will be the value per square meter after prescribed repetitions? If we talk of, there are tangible and intangible benefits. Tangible way, I'm straightforward telling you, the moment you cross 30 repetitions, you are tangible compared to a regular conventional way also. And whenever you cross 30, it starts getting more affordable. Intangible value can be anything, and price, like I told you, it will purely depend on the design. The kind of design of the building will decide that, what is the, so approximately I can give you a ballpark figure that, pricing of formwork should be, if the material is imported, if it's 6061 T6, if it's good, it should be somewhere around 10,000 to 11,000, between that, depending on the design. And if we are going with any alloy which is not available, so 6061 T6 is not available in India. That's our biggest challenge what we face. We have to import that. And when we talk of that alloy, it has to be imported. When we talk of local, there can be other alloys which are there. And so again, one more challenge which we face in India is we will never get a bigger extrusion. We cannot get an accurate 300 also. Forget about 600, because even the 300 can become 295 and 305, and then that is of no use. So the kind of rejections what we get in India is very high. What is the lead time for conceptualizing till delivery? So once the day you decide to use formwork, the day your drawings are shared, from there I can comment is that 90 days to 95 days or maybe 100 days maximum will be the timeline that will be required as a turnaround time. So after shell plan, usually we talk of we communicate usually after shell plans. Once the shell plan is approved between both the parties, then 60 to 75 days is more than enough to deliver formwork of any size, be it 30K, 40,000, 50,000, 1 lakh. That's what we have been doing now regularly. Please share details on, okay, done. Himanshu, just note this. Akanksha has mentioned that.
I'm sure most of our this is
Yes,
a very
sir.
important topic for us and very important discussion. I'm sure most of our builders will get back to you because I'm sure they have a lot of questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to answer all of them because
Yeah.
this is something more than being a formwork leader in the country. I have been a developer, and for me, my primary goal was that how I can give maximum share whatever learnings I have learned in this. So I'll just take the next one. What is the maximum height we can do at one time? So we can. It's not about the height of the panel can be 4 meter also, but you have to cast at a particular speed, and you have to follow the speed guidelines. So height you can go up till 4 meter also. That's not a problem. I think 3 or 4 meter you can go at one.
Yeah.
What
saving
other?
time is also very important for us.
Yeah.
So yes. So with this, I think thank you so much for a very insightful session. And thank you for always supporting CREDAI.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.